Hey everyone, I am Elizabeth Sherman from Total Health by Elizabeth, and I want to tell you a story. So years ago, actually, it was right around my 40th birthday, so probably about 10 years ago, I decided that I was going to start roller derby, playing roller derby. And you know, it's funny to look back on that right now and think about it as far as I was like, oh, how hard can this be? You know, I really enjoyed roller skating when I was a kid, and you know, it was tons of fun and it's good exercise, so I'm gonna try doing that. But see, the thing is that when you're a kid and roller skating, other girls aren't trying to hit you and make you fall down. So, you know, when I was starting to skate again, I was terrible. I was absolutely horrible. And I was falling down all the time. Girls who start playing roller derby, that the first thing that you learn in your first 6 weeks of playing is how to fall without hurting yourself. And of course I had pads and stuff like that on too. But as I got more skilled, I stopped falling down as much. And, you know, there was a point at which I rarely fell down at all. And so one would think that this is something good, right? But what I realized was that in an effort to not fall down, what I was doing was I wasn't taking risks. I wasn't taking risks out on the floor. I wasn't trying to be the best roller derby player because I was afraid of falling down. I somehow equated falling with failing. And the truth is that the girls who are so good fall all the time because they're constantly taking risks and they're constantly trying to, you know, go out there and protect their jammer, the girl who they're supposed to be protecting. And so, you know, I realized at this point that I wasn't really being that effective as a player because I wasn't taking risks. And I think that that's all what life is about, is taking risks and failing. So, you know, to equate this to another story, 2 years ago, we moved to Mexico, and it was probably the biggest risk I've ever taken in my entire life. And when we walked into this experience, we never thought that we were going to have to commit 100% and stay here and ride it out, even if we didn't like it here. We do, and we're going to stay, but we always had the option of going back. And so why can't we take all of our experiences and say, walk into it with that idea that when we start a new diet or we start a new routine or we start something new, we immediately think that if we don't follow through and if we're not successful in that, then that automatically means that we are a failure. And I will challenge you and suggest that those people who aren't even trying, who aren't risking, who aren't making the proclamation to everyone that they know that this is my new normal, that those people are the ones who are really failing because they're not going out there and taking those risks. They're not willing to fall and fail. Because you know what? Whenever we try something new, we always think that we should know this, right? But when you look at a child who's learning to walk, you know, they try and fall and try and fall and try and fall over and over and over again. knowing that they can succeed. And so, if it is the case that you are reluctant to try a new diet because you're like, ugh, it's never worked before. Why do I think that this is going to be different? The idea is that you figured out, what is that Thomas Edison quote? That I figured out 100,000 ways not to make a light bulb. You figured out what ways of doing this, being healthy, doesn't work for you, doesn't work for your diet, or doesn't work for your workouts. So, so when we think about failing, we think about all of the different attempts that we've made up until now, but we're not giving us the benefit of the doubt that we can be successful in the future. Okay. Now, part of what I do as a health coach is I help people be successful. I help them be accountable to what it is that they're doing. I help them keep their goals and keep their accountability to themselves. And I also help them figure out how to navigate when things aren't working out so that they can become successful in the future. If this is something that you are interested in doing, if you finally want to be successful, because Memorial Day, summer, is in less than 2 months. If this is something that you need, then we can set up a weight loss strategy call where we can figure out how to make you successful. And in that case, then, you never have to fail again. So I'm going to put that link in the first comments. Let me know what questions you have. And I'd like you to think about reframing how it is that we think about failure. That failure isn't about trying. It's about not trying. And when we've never done something before, we're not necessarily supposed to know how it's all going to turn out. So that's my wisdom for you today. I hope you have an amazing day, and I will talk to you soon.